is now the eTeams integration. So currently you're using VSU or the ones you implement.
The ones we have implemented, so there are essentially two methods of integration that we have implemented with. With terms of TIMS, there are so many TIMS devices that are available in the market. So TIMS device has the capability to directly integrate to KRA. So there are ready APIs available to have that integration done. If you want, I can show you a sample format as well. Just wait a minute.
Sure.
One second. Okay. So this is how it looks like. So for example, we have item details. This is the API of one of the TIMS devices that we are working with. So it will have a unique sender ID, and then it will transmit all this information. And then as a response from the TIMS device itself, we receive all the information. For example, the control code, the CU invoice number, and the QR code that will essentially translate into the QR code that is printed on the invoice. So this is one sort of example. The other sort of example that we have done with distributors across Kenya is an eTIMS integration, like you mentioned. But for that, we have partnered with a company. It's called Digitax. So what we do is, since we are partnered with Digitax, what Digitax essentially does is exactly what you have mentioned. Is we send the invoices to Digitax in a certain format, wherein there will be only one dependency on the distributor to have their accounts registered on Digitax. Once that is done, we will need a unique XAPI key corresponding to that account, which means all these invoices are being generated by this seller. Okay.
Alright.
Once that is done, we have integrated the Digitax, so we get the response from Digitax, and we then allow the users in the back office team to generate those TIMS compliant invoices. So those are the two methods that we are currently using. Yeah.
Okay. So for our case, we need to figure out how we are going to use our solution, and what you really propose to use for Salem
With
for eating. Right now, if we did have Odoo, what would you use for integration for eTeams for Salem?
I would have suggested two things: either to have a stationed TIMS device available at the back office. It is a physical device. Almost three other distributors across Vivo are using that as we speak. It could be a TIMS device, or we could essentially partner with Digitax and have that eTIMS integration up and running. I mean, to be really fair, method does not really matter unless we are able to integrate. So it could be either TIMS or it could be the eTIMS, depending on the comfort that Salem has to integrate.
Yeah. So what I'm going back to that point is because now we'll have two solutions for eTeams. We'll have Odoo and also yours. Or is there a possibility of us sending the invoice to Odoo, and then once you get that data, you with an API you call that those the specific fields, the eTeam signature, eTeam receipt, back into your system.
So again, King, I'll be very honest. Why I will not want to prefer that method? Two reasons.
Yeah.
Number one, my field salesperson is on the ground. Given there is any sort of let's suppose I try to bring in another system. For example, the invoice is done on Field Assist. I send the invoice data to you. You get it signed on KRA and then send it back to me, which essentially means around a turnaround time of around 4 to 5 minutes if things are fine. Or let's say best case scenario would be 2 minutes. So I would not want the salesperson to be stuck there just to give a eTIMS or a TIMS compliant invoices. Is why we don't prefer that method. Although that is also pretty much doable, but I would like to keep that as a last resort. For example, what I would prefer is, since you have set up an OCU, right? You have the capability to interact with KRA. The same capability, if we can get, for example, by using the similar APIs, you might be using the OCU might be using APIs to interact with KRA. access to those APIs, and of course, all of that will remain confidential. But if we get access to those APIs with respect to just Salem, is how, for example, you might be working with Odoo, might be working with other distributors or partners in Kenya, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So with respect to Salem, if there's some sort of authentication, and then we get those APIs, then we might be able to do it directly through our system. But essentially, it will be using the Odoo OCU. So that will be a preferred method, so as to stop the lessen that hindrance of operations on the ground, because the salespersons are expected to make sales and not wait for such things, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Yeah.
That will be just increasing the entropy in the system,
Yeah.
which is not
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll talk internally if that's even possible, because yeah, I kind of think it won't be that we'll be given access, but let me confirm that. Yeah, let me confirm if you can get access to that API of the OCU. Yeah. All right. I think that's clear. It's clear for now. For me, from my end, I just have three things to follow up on. The APIs that you need, you send me the template. In terms of costs, I think I'll have, once we have everything ironed out in the public or listed out, I'll be able to raise an estimation on what it will take for that integration on our side. If you don't need to incur, because I think Salem, we still have some hours. Also, if we need to call an expert or a developer on the call, we'll be able to do that. So for the cost right now, I don't have a good idea, but so far so good. We still have hours on Odoo that we can utilize for Salem implementation. Yeah, and then I'll follow up on emails again and let you know how to proceed in terms of access to our OCU integration, or if they can actually use two devices, ours and another device.
Absolutely. So maybe once I share those API formats as well, and once you have it handy on your end, maybe on the next call,
Yeah.
You can have someone from your R&D or technical developer expert team who can help.
Yes.
And I will also have someone from my team who can help us navigate this conversation better.
Okay, that's clear. That's clear. All right. That's it for me, unless Salem or Daniel.
Yeah. Daniel, if you have any comments.
Yeah, first is to thank you, Pankaj Kings and Sneha and Steve for this call. I think it's been very productive. We can now look forward into moving into the next step as discussed. So, Kings, are you going to set up the next call or?
Yes, I'll set it up. I'll make sure to send an email. So most probably it will be next week. Yeah, I think next week same time.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so
Is it okay with them?
Thursday?
Thursday same time as today.
Yeah, works for me.
yeah, okay, yeah. So I think that's okay. The actions are very clear. So probably maybe we can just get into closing out of those actions so that now the next meeting we can have progress to the next step. Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Steve, anything from your side?
Okay, from my end, I think I only need to be told now the system is working, because I don't understand all those technical, this SEM, studio, all those things you're talking. Just need to be told now, this is what we need from you. I give you guys, if you're able to communicate the two of you, I'm good to go. So our system is working, and people are selling and we're making money. That's all.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. So I guess we can wrap up. Thanks everyone for joining in. Thanks for your time. We'll connect same time next week, and I'll make sure to send the documents across right away.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just let me confirm, do you guys need to communicate the there may be some confirmation that you don't need to pass through us. Okay. King has all he has the
Email.
permissions to communicate directly to you guys. So if you guys feel okay, please just contact him directly.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, we follow the same email chain. We'll keep you copied so that there is nothing that is getting missed from the
Thank you.
call.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Vish.